Hello, and thanks for joining our presentation on Induction Sealing Basics. This is Matthew O'Donnell, Account Manager at Sealig. During this presentation, if you have any questions or need clarification, please use the chat function on your screen, as some of my colleagues and I will be monitoring the chats. If we don't get a chance to get to your question during the presentation or by the end of the presentation, we will be answering all chats over the course of the next 24 hours. Sealig is a global leader in the supply of induction sealing materials for consumer packaged goods and a specialist in consumer convenient packaging. With our operations in North America and Europe and sales offices in Latin America and Asia, we cover the world's container sealing needs. Today I'll be presenting on the basics of induction sealing. Induction seals are used on such a wide range of packages because of their many benefits. One of the first induction sealing applications was on a Prestone antifreeze, used to stop leaks during transportation. Today, induction seals continue to be the preferred method to prevent leaks. As e-commerce continues its growth, companies such as Amazon require liquids to meet specific requirements to prevent leakage and recommend using induction seals. Delivery companies like FedEx and UPS also suggest using induction seals to prevent leaks during shipping. You might hear induction seals referred to by many different names, such as a closure liner, heat seal, or inner seal. Consumers often refer to them as a safety seal. One of the reasons is because induction liners have been used on pharmaceutical and over-the-counter products as a means of tamper evidence. It was in 1982 that Tylenol basically wrote the book on how to respond to a public crisis when its products were tampered with on the shelf, leading to several deaths. They pulled their products from the market and introduced the package with an induction seal to give consumers the confidence and peace of mind that their product was safe to use. Sealed for your protection and safety seal are two of the prints that are very popular. Induction seals create a hermetic seal with a container that prevents the ingress of moisture and gas. This hermetic seal helps extend the shelf life for many food and beverage applications, as well as ensuring that the active ingredients are not degraded. This barrier to moisture and gas, such as oxygen, is one of the key features sought out by packaging engineers. Let's talk about the different types of induction seals and the materials they utilize. The least complex of our induction liners is our one-piece liner. All induction liners require the use of a metal, and in this case, aluminum foil, which is heated via an electromagnetic field. The induction energy is converted to heat energy in the foil, which activates the heat seal surface and allows bonding to the container. Most induction liners are inserted into the closure, which eventually will seal the filled container. This allows the brand owner to just have to apply the cap and induction seal the capped container rather than having to seal the container with a liner and then apply the cap. All induction liners have several material layers, the purpose for each layer. This fairly typical one-piece liner has 5 different layers that are laminated by 4 passes through a machine or series of machines. Lamination can be done with different processes depending on the materials, but also depending on the strength of the bond that is required. Sealig offers extrusion lamination for applications that require the most robust adhesion. The two-piece induction liner adds the functionality of a reseal liner, which is left in the cap after induction sealing. Two-piece liners are temporarily held together with a wax or weak polymer bond and is separated either by the wax melting or the weak polymer bond intentionally breaking upon closure removal. When choosing the punch geometry for your liner, it is ideal to have a circular shape. And if side tabs are required for the liners be retained within the closure or for consumer removal, the side tab should be as small as possible with rounded edges and no sharp corners. The lift and peel liner's half moon tab, shown in the left side, does not require side tabs, unless the closure is not designed to retain the liner well. Understanding the induction process is important in choosing an induction liner and determining the ideal settings to create a robust seal. Pressure, heat, and time are the variables in this process. The pressure is the pressure between the liner and the container surface, which is controlled by the capping equipment. The heat is what helps soften and melt the heat seal surface of the liner and is controlled largely by the power setting on the induction heating equipment. The time component refers to the time the foil is exposed to the induction heating process and is controlled by the speed of the conveyor which exposes the package to the induction field. Our PHT manual is available to customers and is on our website. It provides details of this process, how to set up the ideal parameters, and troubleshooting. The induction sealing window represents a range of settings for the parameters we just discussed, pressure, heat, and time, for which the induction seal creates a consistent bond around the entire land area without overheating or being difficult to remove. Prior to exposing packages to the induction process, one needs to make sure the assumptions and requirements of the line and a good seal are being met. An inconsistent cap application process, non-uniform conveyor speed, or out of specification bottle or closure are just some of the parameters that need to be checked prior to induction sealing. In order to get uniform heat to the foil in the induction seal, the capped package, as it passes under the induction machine's induction coils, should be centered with a small, approximately 1/8 of an inch gap under the induction head. Your equipment supplier can provide gauges and other instructions on the proper alignment with the induction sealing unit. In the second step of setting up your induction sealing window, the induction equipment controller should be set to a minimum output level. It is rare that an induction sealer is running at less than 40% power, so this is probably a safe starting point. Since the equipment, controls, and power capacity may be different from different suppliers, always check with them for their recommendation for the minimum power setting. In this step, you're trying to determine the minimum power setting. The power is repeatedly increased by 5% until a partial seal is achieved. Then successive 1 to 2% increases are made until a complete seal is achieved. That minimum should be recorded for that particular line speed, bottle and closure combination, and end-use product application. With the minimum setting determined, now the maximum power needs to be determined as well. As with the last step, successive increase in power by 5% from the minimum setting is performed with seal checks done until there is evidence of seal overheating. From that point, reduce the power by 1 to 2% until overheating is no longer observed. Record that as the maximum power setting. Within the induction window, samples should be tested over many bottles to make sure that the settings are not too low or too high. Before the samples are tested, they should be allowed to cool for at least 5 minutes so the removal torque can be checked as well. The final resulting induction window should be tested each time a package change is made, especially if the bottle, closure, capper, or induction equipment is changed or revised. We would love to carry this conversation further with those in the audience that are interested. Please send us a chat request or feel free to send a note to any of the business cards located on Sealig's Packaging Connects exhibitor page. Lastly, you can send us an email at sales@sealigsealing.com. In the time we have left, I'll be answering a few of the more common chat questions that have been sent in. Please note that all chat questions that we receive will be addressed within the next 24 hours. Thank you.